everybody. Welcome to Clan Hamato. I'm your host, Matthew McLean, and today I want to talk about the new Nickelodeon animated series, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The show's not supposed to premiere until September, but ahead of the Kids' Choice Awards this year, the first couple episodes have already leaked online, so I thought I'd give my opinion on them. I waited a good month or so just so I can watch them a few times and really let the episodes sink in. Okay, let's talk about the first episode released. It's kind of an origin, but not really. April's already established as a friend of the Turtles. They don't explain how the Turtles recreated, if Splinter is Hamato Yoshi or the pet of Hamato Yoshi, but it does introduce us to the new villain, Baron Draxon, voiced by John Cena, who it's hinted that he has something to do with their origins, but it's left pretty vague, at least for now. This episode is more of just to reintroduce you to the new Turtles, the animation style, the comedy involved. The only problems I really had were how they lost their weapons that we know and love, how there's just a random weapon like depository in this layer of Baron Draxon that has the same weapons that they lost or damaged. It also has their new mystic weapons that they steal and use for themselves. Now, the next episode released was an introduction to the origami ninjas. Basically, there's two foot soldiers walking around stealing all the paper in the city, and they're using this paper to make a foot soldier army, but they don't call them foot soldiers, at least not yet. Maybe they're waiting to hold that off until the shredder comes, but there's giant feet on their face. They're foot soldiers. It's definitely interesting way to do soldiers. I mean, it's a good way to make them disposable. So you can slice them and dice them. No real harm, no foul. Kind of like the robot foot soldiers in the original cartoon. They've got a decent design. I kind of like them. Although, I found the episode to be just a slight bit problematic in the way that they kind of solve the issues. I mean, it is more cartoony, more humorous, but when they're looking to trap the origami ninjas and see what's going on, they just make a cardboard cutout of a paper making place, and they use like salami sliced real thin as paper, and then the foot fall for it. I mean, I thought that was weird, but funny. I guess it's what they're going for. Now the next episode is kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese parody, but instead of Chuck E. Cheese we get a robot named Alberto, which constantly shorts out, and April asks for Donatello's help, maybe fix him for the birthday party she's throwing at her place of work, which is another weird thing too. It seems like in at least a couple episodes, April has a hard time holding down a job, and it's kind of a way to shoehorn her in to finding a way just to clash with the Turtles and get her into the story. I don't know, could work. But I found it to be a pretty funny episode. I mean, there's a lot of action, kind of a Terminator influence. April definitely can hold her own. She's got a lot of spunk. I like this interpretation of April, although I'm still not really fond of the design, that weird Baxter Stockman, Irma, love child type of thing they got going for, but the character itself seems to work. The next episode, there was a unique villain, to say the least, a hippopotamus, along with Warren Stone, which is a news reporter turned into a worm who claims he's the Ninja Turtles' worst enemy, even though they never really go into details why he's got such a problem with them. There's a lot of fun jokes along with this. Leonardo slicing him in half. You think he'd be dead. You see bones exposed to him, but no, it just throws his tail back. Now, the main problem I have with this episode would be Hippopotamus. How they're trying to trap him by having the Turtles dress up as a female hippo to lure him in, and it works. Now, he was a magician with a hippo as part of his act. Now, I'm not sure if the episode said they merged together, or if he just got the hippo's DNA and he became part of it, but it seems weird for a human, even though became a mutant, to suddenly have the hots for a hippo. But that's probably just my adult brain kind of thinking too much into a kid's cartoon episode. Now, the last episode that was released was introducing a character called Repo Mantis. clever name, good spin. Has the turtles, Donatello and Mike. It's like their own solo adventure. They want this car, so he says he'll give it to them if they do a job for him. So they go and do that job, meet another mutant, and he's the nicest guy in the world, and they just can't get themselves to actually take the RV back and repossess it, so they help him out, build him a new sanctuary, and this way they're allowed to take the RV without feeling bad about themselves. And then when they get back to the Mantis, he has other ideas for the moon buggy that they want, so they start fighting, turtles get their vehicle, stuff happens with the Mantis. I don't want to go into too many spoilers. I mean, these are definitely interesting interpretations of the turtles in this new series. I don't hate it. Not necessarily sure I'm sold on it yet. There's a lot of things I like. The art style, the animation itself is strong, the voice acting is good, a lot of strong humor. Not so sold on Splinter yet. I mean, he's got little moments where you see this awesome character come in there and fight, but for the most part he's just like a lazy style watching TV all day. Maybe that's going to develop further on. Now, another thing to notice is, seems to be, at least these first initial episodes, kind of throwaway episodes, with the exception of the first one and maybe the second one. The way they're designed to be little half episodes, not full on. Maybe that's more for the attention span of today's generation, or maybe they're leaving the full solid half-hour episodes for the main points of the story that relate to Baron Draxon, perhaps. But I mean, they definitely work, but because they're so short, you definitely have to have a faster pace in the episodes. Maybe that's why they're leaving a lot of the origins out. Like, none of the mutants seem to have an origin. Like, the closest thing we get would be the Hypnopotamus Warren Stone episode, where the origins are kind of casually mentioned, but not fully explored. But maybe that's something they'll develop further down the line. I think right now they were trying to introduce new characters, a new world, let everybody know that this isn't the same old Ninja Turtles, which kind of is a good thing, because if you really look back at like the previous two animated series, they all covered the same beats, and mostly the same beats as the original comic. You got confrontation with the Shredder after their origins, where they meet April, Casey, the trip to the farmhouse after they get their butts handed to them by the Shredder. You get their comeback to New York, City at War. You get Triceraton Army, the Fugitoid storyline. They all tend to hit the same beats. This one seems to definitely be straying away from that. You know, this is a new show, new characters, new interpretation. Well, I guess that's it for now. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing further videos, hopefully on a weekly basis, reviewing more episodes, probably more individually, because these were all released at once. Maybe some comic book reviews, toy reviews in the near future, movie reviews. I've got a lot of things planned for this site, so please stay tuned. Thanks.